Yo, what's up, guys? C-Jax back with another Raw recap, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I kind of enjoyed this episode of Raw. I just never thought I'd be saying that again, but this was actually a watchable episode of Raw. It was not amazing, it was not like the worst thing I've ever seen, but it was a significant improvement from the last 2 weeks, which were horrible. It was actually watchable television. Now, last night, I watched NXT No Mercy, which was actually very, very good. It was a lot better than Trash in Berlin, but that kind of had me on a high from WWE content. And also on top of that, this was in Denver, same with the NXT No Mercy last night. And so pretty much we started off with Rhea Ripley doing a promo. Now the crowd tonight was actually very good until like the halfway point in the show when we got Damage Control versus Unholy Union is basically when the crowd died. But before that, this promo was, it was kind of mid, I'll be honest. Rhea Ripley doesn't really say anything. She just comes out and says, hey, I'm coming for the World Heavyweight Championship off Liv, and that's pretty much it, right? Nothing really changes here. Dominic Mysterio comes out and says absolutely nothing. I understand that people try and make excuses for this dude, like, oh, he's getting booed, you can't hear what he's saying. But what he's actually saying is nothing. He just yells at the crowd to shut up in Spanish, and then proceeds to say nothing, which Rhea Ripley tried speaking Spanish in this promo, and it was just corny and cheesy. So let's just go ahead and stop that now where it is, you understand? Then after this, Liv Morgan comes out and attacks Rhea from behind. Rhea falls into the ropes and gets caught up in the ropes, similar to how Damian did at Clash at the Castle. And then I guess her knee now and it is kind of injured, I suppose, allegedly, for the storyline. So her knee is hurt. We'll talk about that later, though, because she comes back with a little bit of Jey Uso and Damian Priest action, which was actually pretty cool, if you ask me. And there was also this moment, too, where Liv Morgan just kissed Rhea Ripley when she was, like, hanging outside of the ring. It was very weird and it was very awkward. But obviously, the WWE, the weirdos, the perv-type fans who are in love with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley and are saying things like, Liv Morgan, please step on me. Rhea Ripley, step on me. I better do anything to me. I'm a jobber. I'm a cuckold. I'm weird. Like, all those people are going to eat this up. The goons, as they're called now, right? They're not weirdos anymore. They're actually called goons. The super gooners. So, all those dudes are going to eat this up, obviously, but this was just weird. So, yeah, that was pretty much this segment. And then Liv and Dom run away. Damian comes out, blah, 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 whatever. Next, we have American Made versus Alpha Academy, which this match, for the time that it had, which wasn't much, this match was actually pretty good. The crowd was into it. Otis is super over. Him and Tozawa did a good job. And I have to say, the Creed brothers are actually very athletic. The big one, Julius Creed and Brutus, those dudes are actually cooking, kind of. And Maxine Dupree is improving in the ring, okay? I know it's been long awaited. People have been making fun of her in-ring skills for like a year now. But yeah, she is improving in the ring, and she is getting better. It's very noticeable. She's this like top like turnbuckle moonsault kind of thing, or not moonsault, but a splash kind of thing. It was actually pretty good, if you ask me. Then after this, we got Uncle Howdy coming out and interrupting Chad Gable after the match, and he cut a promo. This promo was actually pretty bad in my personal opinion. Bray Wyatt, I hate to keep on bringing this up, man, but rest in peace to Bray Wyatt, dude. Like, I grew up on Bray Wyatt, like, when I was, like, what? I was, like, 9 years old when he debuted, or, like, 8 years old. This dude actually is very, very good. Like, and looking back at what he was able to do with the characters that he had, he was very good, man, for what he was supposed to be doing. And when you listen to Bo Dallas, it's just not believable. He comes out, he started on one of his words. I think he was trying to say neglecting, and he just, like, completely messed up. He's like, like, it wasn't me, it was Boy Howdy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know what Uncle Howdy was even talking about. He's just yapping about nonsense. The promo was mid. But next week, we're going to get a 4v4 with Wyatt 6 versus the American Made. So that's cool, I guess. But this promo was mid. And Bray Wyatt just adds a new level to the mystical, mysterious characters, because he's actually believable and has some sort of charisma on the mic. So it makes it better. And then plus in ring, he's just way better than Bo Dallas. I mean, there's a reason Bo Dallas was literally doing Bo Leave as a jobber for like 3 years before I think he got fired or left the company or whatever, while Bray Wyatt was winning WWE championships. You get what I'm saying? But anyways, man, that is what it is. Then we had a garbage match followed by a garbage promo. Zelina Vega fought Shayna Baszler. This match was garbage. The only reason that this match even existed is because Lyra Valkyria returned after to help her out versus the Pure Fusion Collective. And Lyra Valkyria, even though she hasn't been on the show in a month, got no pop when she came out. And Sonya Deville cut a horrible promo where she basically ended up saying, what was it? If you want to step up and shoot your shot. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, what are you actually even saying at that point? You want to step up, then shoot your shot. No, why don't you shoot your shot and shut up? How about that? Sonya Deville is a jobber. Shayna Baszler is also a jobber. Same thing with Zoe Stark. And this match was garbage. Then you had Damian Priest and Rhea with a backstage promo. And this is where WWE actually starts to cook inside of this episode. We get to see Damian and Rhea basically game plan because they need a partner for Damian Priest to do a tag versus Finn and JD. And Rhea Ripley goes out and talks about Jey Uso, man, who has ended up being Damian Priest's partner for that tag team main event later tonight. And this was just good because obviously Jey Uso has been underutilized on the main roster since he's had this great singles run. And, he's super over. He's the most over face in the company, arguably, right now, besides, Roman Reigns. And, that's pretty much it. And he gets nothing for this. But now, finally, he was on Raw tonight. He had a good moment. And then after this, we had CM Punk. Oh, first off, going back to this promo real quick with Damian and Rhea, this segment. Why is it that Triple H never gives us what we want until 5 months down the line? I understand the long-term storytelling and the long-term booking, but this is just stupid at this point. Would it really hurt if you didn't postpone this an extra 2 or 3 weeks and would have given us Jey, Damian, and Rhea teaming up versus the Judgment Day 3 or 4 weeks ago on Raw? Would that really have taken something away from this story? Absolutely not. So just postponing every story for 2 or 3 weeks and not giving us fans what we want, but then giving us what we want 2 months later is stupid. It's not long gaming. It's just called we know what the fans want, so we're going to prolong it and make you watch boring and garbage episodes of Raw until we give you what you want. But anyways, then we get CM Punk, who also cut a bad promo tonight. CM Punk is washed when it comes to just everything pretty much. I wouldn't say he's bad, obviously, because he's still one of the top stars in the company. But at the end of the day, this dude says the same stuff. Isn't it great to be in New York? Isn't it great to be on a Monday night in Denver? Isn't it great to be on a Monday night where I can't cut a promo and I run out of breath after 1 second of a match? This dude's getting annoying at this point. CM Punk, when I grew up on him, he was amazing. CM Punk in his prime was awesome. And he still was awesome to an extent. But then the Royal Rumble happened and realized that this dude can't wrestle anymore. And I was like, okay, well, this is just dumb. CM Punk can still wrestle, obviously. Okay, I know people are going to, CM Punk can still wrestle. Why'd you just say that? Why'd you just say that? Relax. Obviously, CM Punk can still wrestle. He just can't do it at a very high level anymore. The strap match, the strut munch, Punk. That was basically carried by Drew McIntyre, but it is what it is. That match was still decent, I'll be honest. And then Punk basically cut a bad promo, said nothing. He said he's coming for gold. He's going to fight Gunther for the world title, which obviously he's not, because Gunther, if he actually fought CM Punk, would probably end up killing him in the ring. Because Punk, number one, would be out of breath. Number two, physically, he just can't match up with anybody anymore in the company unless he's fighting Tozawa. So that was pretty much that. And then he gets attacked by Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre Claymore kicks him 2 or 3 times. He takes the bracelet off and shoves the beads of the bracelet in Punk's mouth. And then he attacks Punk again as Punk's being loaded into an ambulance. So, that's that. I'm kind of getting tired of Punk and McIntyre because, it's the same stuff. They just attack each other for a week or two, and they cut a promo. Then attack for 2 or 3 weeks, promo. Attack for 2 or 3 weeks, promo. It's the same stuff. And it's getting boring and annoying at this point. Things can only be good for so long. That's why this long-term booking stuff is kind of getting dumb at this point. A story, realistically, should only last a month or two on average. You get what I'm saying? If it's a long-term story that needs to build until Mania, then yes, give it its 4 or 5 months. But every single story does not need to be 3 or 4 months, dude. The Pure Fusion Collective doing this stuff with Zelina and Lyra has been 2 or 3 months, and nobody cares about it. And nobody's going to care when Lyra and Zelina finally get help and beat the Pure Fusion Collective. No one cares about that, dude. It's the same thing with Punk and Drew. The hype wore off after SummerSlam, and it kind of came back for Bash in Berlin, but now it's off again because of stuff like this. So I really don't care about this anymore. They're going to fight at Bad Blood, obviously, in a Hell in a Cell match. We already know this. And then what's going to happen next? Punk is going to go back to the undercard, or maybe he'll fight against Gunther for the world title. And then, Drew McIntyre will go back to fighting in the undercard, trying to beat Tozawa in a one-on-one. Or Otis. Or maybe he'll even go in a one-on-one versus Uncle Howdy. Boy, howdy. Boy, howdy. Anyways, then you had the main of... Sorry, bro. Bron Breakker and Jey Uso cut one of the best backstage segments and promo segments on Raw in months. This backstage segment they had was intense. It was great. It was entertaining. It had funny moments at the very beginning with Jay and Jackie Redmond. And then Bron Breakker steps in. And then he's like, yeah, you can go ahead and try and get Dom sloppy seconds, bro. But you ain't getting this title. And then Jey Uso's like, I'm going to beat you up. And I'm going to take that title too and get mommy. Yeet. It was very, very good. This is probably one of the better backstage segments and promos, honestly, in Jey Uso's career just in general. This was awesome. Bron Breakker is awesome. He comes in, he changes the tone of any situation or match or segment that he's involved in, and he's playing his role to perfection. Bron Breakker is a guy that in like 5 to 10 years, even though it'll be in like his late 30s or mid 30s, he won't need to be on every single TV show because his impact and his presence when he is there is more than enough. He'll be like Roman, I don't know about that. It's going to be a lot for him to catch the Roman Reigns status where pretty much you can just show up when you want and wrestle when you want and you still have impact. But Bron Breakker, I could see him getting to a level similar to that in like a decade from now. That he'll be at the level where it's like this dude can wrestle once a month and do like 1 or 2 promos a month and he'll get away with it because they're so good that it doesn't matter. After this, we got Ilya Dragunov versus Dragon Lee, which was actually a solid match. The reason I didn't bring up Dominic Mysterio being in this match is because he doesn't matter. He ran away like halfway through the match and that's when the match actually became good. This match was cooking when it was just Ilya and Dragon Lee. The reason why is because they actually know how to execute moves, and for some reason, finally, Ilya Dragunov finally stopped overselling every single move and acting like he gets shot after every hit. Usually when he gets hit like with a right hand or a kick or anything, he's laying on the ground like, like he's overreacting like Cody Rhodes in his pros. I respect you. Like, relax. It's not that deep. So Ilya Dragunov stopped doing that overselling stuff and actually put on a pretty good match for like the 5 to 10 minutes it lasted. So that was cool. He advanced and he's going to be in the Intercontinental Fatal 4-Way next week along with Braun Strowman, who also advanced. And that match was honestly just kind of whatever. I don't know why Pete Dunne cost Sheamus the match. Like, Pete Dunne needs to retire. I don't know how old he is. He's probably not that old, but he needs to retire already. He's uninteresting. He's boring, and his in-ring work is average at best. So that's both the Intercontinental qualifier matches for you for the night. Then you have Damage Control versus Unholy Union, which, again, this is where the crowd died in the complete night. I personally don't understand why we're still doing this stuff. The women's tag division is not going to be good. No matter what efforts they make to make it good, it's not going to be. And it's nothing that WWE can do about it because they don't have any women's wrestling stars. They're like that. That's really what it comes down to. And the women's division is garbage. You cannot tell me that the women's division is good because when you turn on an average episode of Raw, outside of the stuff revolving around Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, which I don't even think is that good, but outside of that, what else is good for the women's division? You really excited to see Zelina Vega versus Shayna Baszler, or Sonya Deville cut a promo, or Lyra Valkyria and Katana Chance versus Jobber 1 and Jobber 2? Like, it's not entertaining, it's not interesting, and no one has connected with any of these women's wrestlers. And until they fix that by bringing up some talent from NXT, like the talent I saw last night, like Kalani Jordan and Jada Parker, and even Roxanne Perez, who I think is overrated, but I mean, she's still more talented than Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler and all these other bums. I mean, until you bring those people up, your women's division is going to suffer. Or if you just use Kiana James, maybe, just do something. I don't even know what's happening anymore with Kiana James, but whatever. Triple H doesn't really care either. Then after this, you had Bianca and Jade just kind of like stared at Damage Control in the ring. And Damage Control, honestly, at this point, I mean, I don't even know what to say about Damage Control, dude. At the end of the day, Damage Control is basically just being utilized because Io Sky is super talented in the ring, so they just show her out there and just have her do a good match. That's really all she does, because she carries every match that she's involved in, and that's that. Kairi Sane busted her head open, though, during this match, or busted her face open. It was, like, bleeding all over her face. It was like a horror movie shot, because she jumped off the top rope, and for some reason, Bianca didn't catch her, and then Kairi Sane, like, cut her face open, so, I mean, that's that. Very random, but whatever. Then you had Sami Zayn versus Gunther in a promo segment, kind of. This promo was actually decent. I kind of like this new trend with these promos with Gunther, where it's like Gunther is overwhelmingly being a heel, and I like that. Like, he's not saying anything too outlandish, but like he called them the Denver Degenerates tonight, the crowd out there. And I was like, that's very good. Then Sami Zayn returns. He got a pretty solid pop. And then he basically goes out there and he's like, everyone in the history, all the legends like Orton and Rock and Cena and all these other people Cena never won the Intercontinental belt, but you get the point. He brings up a bunch of legends who won the Intercontinental title and then won the World Heavyweight Championship and like all those people. And he talked about how Gunther did that too and how Sami's going to use the Intercontinental title to finally win his first World Championship in WWE. And I thought that was nice. Now, obviously, there was a bunch of pandering pops during this segment because that's all wrestlers do. CM Punk does the same thing. Isn't it great to be in Denver? Crowd pops, pandering pop. Sami Zayn goes out there. I'm talking about legends like The Rock. Pop. Triple H. Pop. Randy Orton. Pop. Like, it's just cheap pandering pops. Just like when Cody Rhodes comes out and he just stands there and lets the crowd just make noise for 2 minutes so he can sound like they're actually making all that for him. But in reality, they're just doing that so that, they can fill up the 1 minute where he's just saying nothing. So, I mean, that's really all it is now, just a bunch of pandering pops. But, luckily we're going to have this fixed in a couple months when the final boss and Roman Reigns actually come back to the lead to WrestleMania. So you can finally have some star power and some people who actually have something to say on the mic. And then what else happened here, man? Yeah, Sami Zayn and Gunther promo was decent. That's pretty much all Sami said. Gunther responded by kind of just walking away and laughing at him, which I thought was cool. And that was pretty much this segment. But I like this promo because it made the world title seem more important, and it also made sense for Sami Zayn, what he was saying. And, as much as I think he is a mid-carder at best, I mean, if they do fight again, it will be a good match. But the problem is that nobody cares because Sami Zayn is not going to ever win a world championship in the WWE. If it was going to happen, it would have already happened by now. So the fact that it hasn't lets you know everything you need to know. And then I think that's pretty much every segment so far. And then we ended up with the main event, which was main event Jey Uso and Damian Priest versus JD and Finn Balor. This match was actually decent. It was decent throughout, and then it had a good ending, with Liv Morgan coming out and pushing Jey Uso. And then you had Rhea Ripley coming out after that and trying to hit Liv Morgan. And then you had Jey Uso hitting a spear and then a splash. And, the good guys win, the good guys end up on top, and you had Rhea, Jay, and Damian standing in the ring to end the show. Now, overall, this episode of Raw, I don't think it was great, and I also don't think it was garbage. It is a significant improvement from the last few weeks of Raw, and I want to explain to you guys why this is quickly. The reason why this was a good episode of Raw, because if you pay attention, they actually leaned on their top stars. Jey Uso, Rhea Ripley had most of the screen time tonight. They were they were in multiple different segments tonight. When you lean on your top stars who actually have talent, you are going to get a better product. Even though I think Rhea Ripley is overrated, it's undeniable that she clearly has a different star power, aura, and ability and talent level than everyone else on the women's roster on Raw specifically. So that's just a fact. So if you lean on that and lean on Jey Uso and even lean on Damian Priest, who's been developing as a decent mid-carder, you will actually get a good show. Or not a good show, but a better show than what you've been getting the last couple weeks, which has been atrocious. You get what I'm saying? Lean on that. And also what this show did is that it was able to do a good balance of story and matches. The matches that actually took place, even though they weren't that long necessarily, were the ones that took place for the time they were out, like the Tozawa and Alpha Academy versus American Made match for that 10-minute span, was good. The match at the end, the main event, was solid. You had the Sami Zayn and Gunther promo segment. When you just pick your spots of when to have important and meaningful things happen, instead of purposely drawing things out 2 or 3 months, like normally, Triple H would usually have Gunther and Sami would eye each other up in the backstage. And the next week it would be yeah, I'm coming for that title. In the third week, we'd finally get a promo with Sami and Gunther. What they did in this episode, they turned things that could have been 4 weeks normally under Triple H booking into something that can happen in 1 episode, which is exactly how it should be. Rhea and Liv, the match being made for Bad Blood, did not need to take 3 weeks. You get what I'm saying? So I'm glad that they established that tonight. And same thing with Jey Uso. The stuff with him and Bron Breakker, laying down the groundwork for them actually having real beef with each other and stuff like that, does not need to take up to a week or 2 weeks away from Bad Blood. That can be started tonight in a great segment, which is exactly what they did. The more that they continue to do this stuff, which is basically you're making these stories that are good on paper but don't need to take 2 months, you're now shortening them down so they don't have to be expanded over multiple weeks. Like Jey Uso and Bron Breakker, after what I saw tonight, they can cut 1 or 2 more promos in the next 4 or 5 weeks before Bad Blood, and I'd be completely fine with it. You see, that's how you bypass this stupid, rhetoric where you have to wait 8 weeks for a story to get good. They're starting to figure a couple things out, and I actually notice it, and I respect it. The only problem is that usually most episodes after a PLE of Raw or SmackDown are usually pretty good, but then the following episode sucks. So let's just hope they can ride this momentum and ride this high and continue to learn from this. It's a good stepping stone. I'd give this episode a 6, maybe even a 7 out of 10. Right, it had a lot of good. It had more good than bad, I'll say that much. But yes, let me know what you thought about this episode in the comment section below. And as always, I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. Peace out.